Hey, it's Ryan with QLZ, back-to-back days that we are in the green room, which is exciting, and we are talking to Haley for the first time ever. She is in a band called Gore. She is the lead singer, and I've been chatting with you because I told you how excited I am for this interview because what you do for a living and being in a metal band is something a lot of people would never ever think of. So first off, how you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for asking. How you doing?
Yeah. Always try to do that. Always try to be polite. Always try to be polite. Even though I've asked you like 3 times how you're doing before we start the interview, still have to do it every
I was
single
like, I'm
time.
still good. Thanks.
Yeah, still good. All right. She's like, I was good 2 minutes ago. I still am now. You haven't scared me off of this interview yet, so it's wonderful. So again, you are the lead singer of a band, metal rock and metal band, because you sing, you do scream, you do a great job with both of them, and you are also an aerospace engineer for NASA at the same time,
Yep.
which is wild. So again, I kept thinking like, what do I ask her first? What do I ask her first? I guess the biggest thing is kind of what is your day-to-day life like as an aerospace engineer for NASA?
Yeah, it depends. So I mostly work remotely, but I do
Okay.
go occasionally to Houston on site. So it just depends. I'm in charge of a couple things. I'm helping build the next generation spacesuit by providing like insight and lessons learned from the past. And I also help manage all of the activities that go on the International Space Station that
Okay.
relate to the spacesuit. I'm in like the spacewalk division essentially, so that's what I am a part of. And yeah, I mean, my day to day job honestly looks pretty similar to other people. I'm typically doing a lot of computer work or a lot of meetings, a lot of coordination. Um, and then obviously after 5 p.m. is typically when I start my music stuff. So
There you go. You told me you've been in bands before. This is Gore is the first band that you have ever started on your own. So
yes.
it's I like Instagram the other day. It's like 2 years you've done this. You guys have a couple of singles out right now. Obviously, Babylon's the new one that we're playing on New on Q. What made you want to? Again, you have this job that's incredible. And what made you want to start your own metal band on top of that?
Yeah. So, I mean, music's been a very intense passion of mine ever since I was a little girl. I've always wanted to sing. I've always loved singing and
Mhm.
performing. For me, I've always joined other people's bands. My band before this was a symphonic death metal band, very
Okay.
different,
Yeah.
and that's not something that I was normally really into. I felt like I just needed to join other people's bands in order to make something happen. And this was the first time after, parted ways with that band. I was just like, I need to do this my own way
Hmm.
this time. And that's how Gore came about. Could have made a better decision, honestly. I'm really happy that I did that. And I love my job so much. And I also have another part of my brain that needs to be
Yeah.
used. It does, the NASA gig doesn't fulfill the NASA job does not
Yeah.
fulfill all of my desires for creativity and stuff like that. Um, but everybody that works a day job has a hobby, right? It
Yeah.
just happens to be that this one is a very
Yeah.
serious one now.
Yeah, like I said, it's incredible. Like I told you, I said, I've done radio for almost 18 years now, and you talk to so many people that have day jobs, that have bands, and it's kind of what a lot of bands have to do right now. Um, what's it like to? I guess first off, what are maybe some of the best lessons that you've maybe learned taking on starting your own band? Like you said, you've joined other bands in the past. Maybe what's some of the best things that you have learned starting Gore and taking this on and fronting it and saying, hey, this, I want to lead this charge. I want to do this band. What's some of the best things that maybe you've learned so far?
I think one of the most important things that I've learned is if you're doing it right and you're actually successful, it'll start to sometimes feel less like you're a musician and more like you're a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
which is very like not flashy or
Yeah.
like it I'm not sitting here like drinking beers before going on and playing a show every day. Like that's just not how it works. Like I
Yeah.
run a business, I run social media, I'm constantly coordinating with other people, my calendar is incredibly busy.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I learned, your calendar is your friend. It's like my personal boundary setter, from 8
Yeah.
to 5
Yeah.
NASA,
Yep.
work. And then after that, I start to fill in other things. But yeah, I've learned that it's the day-to-day is not like sexy, like at all sometimes. And you just have to be okay with the grind, you know?
Yeah. Backstage, it's interesting. So I've emceed festivals in the past and obviously other shows and things. And everyone's like, what's it like backstage? I'm like, well, during the day, there's a lot of equipment. There's people playing cards
Yeah.
and there's people usually sleeping in hammocks. It's not the insane thing that people realize.
No, especially as a singer, you're not gonna be backstage screaming and taking shots.
Yeah.
You're gonna sound like shit when you get on stage. You sound like crap.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're
You're
good.
good. You're good. You're good. I mean, you have to. So, what is your vocal routine like? Like, do you have to talk a lot during the day, or is it you can kind of rest your voice? So, like, if you have a show on like a Tuesday night, are you able to kind of rest your voice during the day?
Unfortunately, the answer is no.
Okay. All right.
So there are days where I talk a lot, and there are days where I don't talk at all. But if there's a day where I have to talk a lot, so I'm really good friends with David Benitez, who owns Extreme Vocal Institute, and he's actually given me some tips on how to actually be able to talk all day while also perform at night. And so he's been really helpful with that. But unfortunately, it's just managing the way that you talk, and obviously how much rest you get and everything. But I don't have much other than that, unfortunately.
No. I don't know if you had any routines or anything, because like I know some people, like obviously radio, we talk a lot, and at some point your voice gets tired and it's like, okay, there's only so much tea I can drink in a day before I'm like, all right, I need something
He
else.
never did anything for me.
Really?
Like,
No.
I'd love to think that I was like, throw coat. And I'm just like, the best advice I got was to just do what you do on a day where you're feeling good. Just repeat that.
Okay.
Do it. If that means you drink coffee in the morning, don't not drink coffee in the morning. Drink coffee in the morning. That's the best advice I've ever gotten.
There you go. Keep that routine. Like I said, Babylon is the track we're spinning from you right now. Music videos came out for it a couple of weeks ago. And again, with us spinning a track on QLZ, I always kind of like, you can take this from any angle you want, share whatever you want, Haley, about it. What would you like our listeners to know about this track?
This is the one of two very special tracks to me on the EP. Obviously, they're all special, but these two have a special place in my heart. Babylon is about, on a broad spectrum, just having to put to death a dream that you have in order to take on a new one. Okay. For me, it was the death of a dream of like having a nuclear family, a very traditional family, and putting that aside. So I hope that it's a very relatable song to all the listeners, and it's one of my personal favorites. So.
And the video for this is pretty wild as well. I just watched the video. I usually try to watch the video the day whoever I'm interviewing, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. How was it like shooting this music video? Because at one point, you're dressed normally and everything else. The next, there looks like there's mud and tar on you. At one point, you're being shoved in what looks like a tub of water at one point too. Kind of what was it like shooting the music video for it?
That was such an incredible experience because I've never done a music video before. I've never been in one. So it was incredible. And it was really cool to see the ideas that I had for the music video come to life so well. Our production team was incredible. And that, music video is essentially a metaphor for the meaning of the song. Mm-hmm. So when I'm in, all that sludge, that's essentially like the cynical person that comes out of, very resentful, cynical person that comes out of having their dreams consistently shattered day after day. Mm-hmm. So it was an incredible experience to film that.
So awesome. Are you ready for the next music video then?
Yes, I love music videos. Yeah. Yes, I'm so ready.
You mentioned an EP, so obviously I have to ask you, do you have a release date on this, or what's it look like for the EP?
Yeah, so the EP is going to be, and this is publicly announced, October 24th of 2024 is the official drop date of the entire EP. For the singles, we have 2 more singles coming. I cannot give those exact drop dates. Obviously, one of them is October 24th. Can't give you the other one yet. But obviously very soon, right? Because October 24th is not that far away. No. So yeah, coming at you.
What's it called? Have you guys shared the
name
of it? Okay,
it's his press release, so it's not, it's called A Bud That Never Blooms. So that is the lyric taken out of Pray.
Okay. I like that. I do album release Fridays. We always talk about EPs and album release Fridays as well. So didn't see the release date for you guys just yet on this. So I was like, well, she mentioned it. Well, glad we can share it. It'll go on our album release Friday thing that we do. We should do some triple shot stuff on Friday mornings of like, hey, here's bands with new EPs out today. We talk about and everything else. So, and it's weird because we don't get as many albums anymore from bands because it's such a singles kind of world. So, why did you guys want to do an EP? Why was it the right decision for you and the band? Obviously, everybody's story is different. Why was it right for you all to put out an EP?
The EP, I wish I had a better answer other than the fact that it was just me grabbing my footing. I didn't know quite what I was doing. To me, an album is for somebody that has been in the industry for a while and knows exactly like what an album entails, right? Like if we look at, for example, Sleep Token, they took forever to release, or not forever. They took like a few years to release a full album. And I think that was a smart choice. I think that you release an album when you have enough fans to do it. Myself, it was the first band that I'd started. So I just really wanted to make sure that I was like, I'd rather have 5 really strong songs than like 12 okay songs.
No, it makes sense. I mean, again, it's like you mentioned, so many of the up and coming bands I talk to, it's like they're like, we have singles every 3 months or singles every 2 months, or we're doing this. Eventually we'll put them on an album. Like it's like if you look at Falling Into Verse right now, Falling Into Verse's new album has songs on it back from 2019. And there's a couple other bands that have done that too, where it's like, yeah, we've had songs for like 4 years. Now they're all on a record, which is way different from like when I grew up. Cause you got to hear like 2 songs and it was, I need to go buy the album because I like these 2 songs. Let me go buy the album.
Yep.
So everything is completely changed, which is wild. So EP is out in October. You guys have some shows coming up as well. Is this the first kind of run that you've all done? Like a little bit of a longer run that you've all done?
As a band, yes.
Okay.
So Alex our guitarist, has pretty good touring experience. He used to be in a band called Apotheca, who's done plenty of tours. Me, I have done runs. I have never done a tour.
Okay.
I've done about 5-ish day runs, which is what we're doing. Devin's new to it. So I would say that we're all, we all got those little nerves of, oh gosh, like this is our first run together. For some of us, it's our first, ever. So, yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most about getting out on the road?
I'm looking forward to singing. Like I am very nervous about that part, but I never used to sing on stage in my old band. It was always just death metal vocals. And that's a whole different thing on stage than singing is. And so I'm really excited to like actually have people that want to sing to our songs that are going to be in the audience. I think that's going to be a really cool experience.
You get to, the chance to do both now. You get to sing at them and then scream at them. And then you get to see and it's kind of why I always tell people, like, you always go out, whether it's, an opening band or whatever else, because I enjoy maybe sometimes not knowing a whole lot about a band when I go out and hearing maybe like 1 or 2 songs. So then like, if I don't know this band screams, all of a sudden it's like, they belt something out. It's like, holy crap, I wasn't expecting that. So where did you learn to scream, or how did you learn to scream? How did you know you could, I don't think I've ever asked anybody this before, which is wild. I've never asked anybody this before, but like, when did you learn how to scream?
It's honestly such a lame story. Such a lame story.
Okay.
But I am just a girl at the end of the day. So I was dating this guy, and he's in a metal band that's very big, and I'm not going to say who. Okay. But we broke up, and I was like, man, this can't be that hard. And so I started doing it in like 2018. This can't be that difficult, And so I started, and then I actually really started to enjoy it. And then, that was like Fry, like the, that kind of like speaky kind of one. But then death metal vocals came when I joined the death metal band. And I was like, oh shoot, I have to learn death metal vocals now. And I just started practicing like crazy. And within 6 months, I was playing shows and stuff.
That's awesome. I've never, like I said, I've never asked anybody that before. So no, well, I'm glad you were inspired to do it. I'm glad something came out of that.
Oh, yeah.
So something good came out of that. You know how to scream. That's wonderful. Haley, again, new on Q. We've got Babylon, the track that's spinning on there right now. And every time somebody comes on for the first time, this used to be a blog post when I lived up in Wisconsin. It was about your favorite complete albums, your favorite no skip records. So from start to finish, the albums that you listen to You don't skip one song on, you put the record on. It's just like nobody touch anything. We're listening to this entire thing. What are some of your favorite no skip records? You could definitely feel free to share more than one, two, however many you want to share. Go for it.
Any Alice in Chains record.
Okay.
Any there's a rock band that's been around for a while, Nothing But Thieves. Any Nothing But Thieves record. Man, I love Bon Iver.
Okay.
That's more of alt kind of. It
can be an alt record. It can be. I mean, we've had people that have shared Dave Matthews. John Connolly of Seven Dust did this for me back in Wisconsin. He had Jagged Little Pill from Alanis on his, and then like next to like Master of Puppets. So it does not have to be rock and metal. It can be any. It can. It's your favorite records.
I'm like an alt rock girl, R&B girl, like Jeff Buckley, like Incubus. I guess it's new metal.
I love Incubus. Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally just listening to If Not Now One, like recently, which is one of their like newer albums that I think is criminally underrated. But yeah.
So how did a girl into R&B and alt rock want to get into metal?
Oh, well, R&B, you just can't deny how good of singers. The best singers are in R&B. So whenever anybody's like, "Oh, you're a really good singer," it's like you're like an okay R&B singer. It's like kind of like you're like the bare minimum for an R&B singer. So it's a good like bar to set yourself at.
Okay.
And rock, to me, I feel like I get more variety out of rock than I do some of the like modern metal. Some of the modern metal to me is getting a bit stale. So I really just like to dip my toes in other genres. Like I love country too. I was just listening to who was it? Megan Maroney recently. Like I just listen to everything. But metal, I grew up listening to metal with my dad. My dad's a big like new metal guy. So that's how I got into metal like the most probably.
Nice. Awesome. I know, again, you mentioned that and it's like, it's always curious. Like the interview I did last night, friend Mel, she's like, I don't even listen to a whole lot of metal right now. She's like, we're going to make, hard rock and stuff, but she's like, I don't even listen to a whole lot of metal at the moment. So it's always one of those things that's interesting. It's kind of like there's so many, category or so many, people get put in a box when it comes to metal. It's like, if you listen to metal, you're probably not doing like what you do for a living, which again, like you're an incredible example of somebody that probably you tell them what you do and they'll never suspect you listen to metal. It's wild. Like, we have people that are doctors that listen to us, business owners, everything else. Everyone just thinks that if you listen to rock and metal, you're probably just hanging out, just throwing the horns up at shows and getting hammered all the time, which you have those people, which is awesome. You have them, but like you have such a wide, great fans. But you have such a wide spectrum of what people do for a living. So it's always cool for this. Yeah. You're not always just inspired by metal. You're inspired by everything. Yeah.
And I have coworkers that'll come by my desk sometimes and be like, I really like Doomsday. Like one of my coworkers just did that the other day. And that's just the coolest thing ever. Like I posted in my, where I live, my community group asking for help for something. And somebody was like, I know your band. Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome. Is that neighborhood app thing?
It's a community group on Facebook. I was
on Facebook. Okay.
About so it's like, wait, I know your band.
I know.
That's cool.
Are people from NASA coming to your shows? Like, do you have coworkers that are coming out to your shows?
I don't know. We're all in Houston, so we don't have any Houston shows yet. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple do. I know a couple that are just like avid metal listeners. Am I going to get my boss out there? I don't think so. But
you don't think so, no?
It's okay. It's all right. He can be proud of me on the internet.
There you go. That's awesome. Haley, again, Babylon's Trek, we got a new on queue. If people want to follow the band, they want to buy merch, they want to support you, whenever you're able to start touring, maybe hopefully up around the Midwest, somewhere around here, we can come out and see you play. Where can everybody follow the band on socials and websites and support all of you? Yeah.
So Gore the Band, Gore.theband on Instagram. goretheband.com. We also have our link tree on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Our merch is on Spine Farm, spinefarm.merchnow.com, which is also always posted in our Instagram. So really that's the best place to get the most up-to-date details on how to support us.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, Haley, thank you for taking the time to do this. Again, Gore on every Saturday night on New on Q with Babylon. And we appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you.